This video is going to show you a couple of different ways of inserting a table and modifying your table. So you can insert a table through the Insert tab and choose Table, and you can go across for the number of columns you want and down for the number of rows you want. It does not matter if you do not put in enough rows. As you get to the end of one row and you hit your Tab key, it will actually give you another row. So you just tab through to get from row to row. I have my Show Hide button on so you can see the cell marker. So this little indicator inside the cell is called a cell marker. At the very end, you also have what we call a row marker. For the purpose of showing you how the cut, copy, and paste work in a table, I'm going to put some data across this row. So I'm going to type in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Publisher. Then I'm going to go down here and I'm just going to type in September through December. So I'm going to select the first cell, and notice I'm getting the cell marker. I have the little black arrow and I'm selecting that entire cell. I'm going to cut this data. I'm going to come down to the cell where I have October, and I'm just going to have my cursor blinking there, and I'm going to paste the data. And you notice it pasted over top of the word October because I cut the entire cell for Word. Therefore, I'm replacing the new cell, or the October cell, with the entire cell. If I only wanted to add the text, I have to make sure not to get the cell marker. So I'm going to copy just the text. Notice the cell marker is not selected. And then I'm going to come down here in front of October and paste. And I've just added the word Word in front of October. If I want to copy an entire row, I do the same thing. So I'll select the entire row. I'm at the left of the row, white arrow pointing towards the row. I'm going to copy that. So copy, and I'm going to come down here, select the row that actually has text in it, and paste. And you'll see it just pasted my data right above. I'm just going to undo what we have done already. So I just have the two rows of data again. So this time I am going to put my cursor in front of the first cell, at the beginning of the first cell, and I'm just going to select from there across to Publisher. I'm not selecting the row marker. I am copying that data. I am then going to go down in front of September and paste. You will notice it overwrote the text that was there because I told it to just take the cells, not the entire row. Sometimes you will have a need to add more rows or columns. So if you click your Layout tab, you can insert columns and rows. So I want a row right above this first row, and I'll just have to click Insert Above. If I wanted a column to the left or to the right, I just click Insert, and it will go to the left or the right, whichever one I choose. Here, I want to have all of these as one row rather than 4 different cells. So I have the choice here to come up here and choose Erase, and I can erase the line in between. So I'll just do that for the first one. I'm going to come up here, click Erase. You will notice I get an eraser come up on my document. I'm going to erase that line. This time, I'm just pressing Escape to cancel the erase. I'm going to select the cells in the first row, and then I'm going to go to my Layout tab and click the Merge Cells button, and it merges the cells for me. So I'm quickly merging the cells. I can then make a new heading on this table. So I'm going to call my heading Training. I'm going to change my row height so I can show you how the alignment buttons work. I've just made row 1 higher. So you'll see right now I have centered the data. If I want it at the left, I just click the left top center, then I have center, top center, and right top center. If I click the middle button, it says align center. It will actually center the data within the cell. So top to bottom, left to right of the cell. This middle line means that your data will be aligned in the center of your cell vertically. The bottom line means your data will be at the bottom of your cell vertically. So you would just play around with them a little bit till you get used to it. So I'm just going to choose center, center. The other thing, sometimes you want maybe 2 cells merged here, so you could select them again, choose either merge cells or use your eraser, either one, and you can merge the cells. So you maybe need 2 here, but maybe I need this cell actually split into 4. So to do that, you would go to split cells and you would tell it how many columns you want. So I want that one to be 4 columns now, and there you go. You now have 4 columns there. It's quite easy to merge and split cells, also to change your column with some row heights. So to do that, usually if you just get on one of the borders, or you can get on your markers up on your ribbon. So you'll notice I have a marker on my ribbon here. It's changing all of column 2 when I drag that. Notice that I wasn't getting a marker for column 1. I needed to actually click inside my table for the marker to come up. That just happens when there are multiple settings within the table sometimes. So there we go, I can change that. The other thing that I'd like you to see is the option of auto fit. So if I select the entire table and then I tell it to auto fit to contents, each column will be as wide as it needs to be to fit the longest piece of data in that column. If I go up and I tell it to auto fit to window, it's going to fit it between my margins. So you would need to change the option to the one that you feel best suits your needs. In the tables assignment that I've given you, I actually want you to have your paper so that it's landscaped, and then you can come back to your table and auto fit your table. Some people like to use the draw feature to create their tables or to edit their tables. So if I click the draw table button, you'll see that I get a pencil appear on my screen rather than an insertion point or a mouse. I can then move that to where I would like to insert a new column. So I want to split these cells. I can just actually draw a line and it splits the cells for me. So wherever I'm drawing the line, it will actually split the cells. And you'll notice I'm going up to just a little bit too high on some of them, so I'm getting 2 rows instead. So you have to have a little bit of precise, you have to be very precise when you're operating this. So sometimes using the mouse pad on a laptop is not as easy to do this with. But you can quickly draw a table using this. So I'm drawing my outline for a table. Now I'm drawing the inside line. So I've quickly drawn a table here. When you're finished drawing your table, you have to press the escape button. But to change the design on a table, if you go up to your design tab and click the drop down arrow, you'll see that there are a bunch of different designs to choose from. So select the one that you would like to use. Notice some of them do not have a border in the middle. The other options, when you're quickly wanting to add and remove borders, this is the one option I like. I'm going to select the top table here, and I'm going to go to Borders and Shading. So I'm going to click the Borders button, then go down to Borders and Shading, and I'm going to tell it I want none, so it takes all the borders off for now. I'm going to choose this outside border, so this one for my outside, and then when I click grid, you're going to see that the middle lines are going to be a single line. And then click OK. So you'll see I have a single line in the middle and the double border on the outside. So it's very quick and easy to do by going to borders, borders and shading, choosing the style you want and choosing grid. If I choose all, you're going to see all the lines will have that double border. And box, I would just get the double border on the box. So you need to be aware of what you're selecting. So the grid option will work for you most often.